I hit the brakes so hard my pickup kicked up a storm of dust that swirled like a tornado across the gravel drive. There, on my own front lawn at Willow Creek Ranch, stood Miranda. The Miranda, the HOA queen with her sleek auburn bob and a voice that could shatter glass. She was flipping steaks on a grill she'd parked on my porch, wearing a ridiculous apron that read, "Ruler of the Suburbs." Folding chairs dotted my pasture like an invasion. Balloons bobbed in the breeze, a hired band tuned guitars by the shed, and Miranda was throwing a full-blown cookout on my land in the heart of Bozeman, Montana. I leaped out of the truck, fury burning in my chest. "Miranda, what the hell are you doing on my property?" She turned, slow as molasses, while VYing her tongs like I was some lost tourist. "Oh, Caleb, you're back early," she said, cool as ice. "You weren't due till Monday." My jaw tightened. "This is my ranch," I roared. But before I could finish, she whipped out her phone and dialed 911, calm as if ordering pizza. "Yes, hello, I need officers now. There's a man here threatening me on private property. He's aggressive, possibly dangerous. Hurry." I stood there, stunned. "Did you just call the cops on me?" The band's drummer glanced up, muttering into the mic, Miranda, that's the guy from the photo in the house." Without missing a beat, she snapped, "He's a trespasser pretending to be the owner." Sirens wailed in the distance, and I knew she wasn't bluffing. She wanted me in cuffs. Let me back up because this story needs context. I'm Caleb Thompson, owner of this 15-acre slice of paradise just outside Bozeman. I bought it 7 years ago after retiring from the fire department, pouring every dime I'd saved into this dream. It wasn't just land, it was my sanctuary. I'd left for a 3-day hiking trip in the mountains, CRAVYing solitude after a tough year. I locked the gates, secured the shed, and told my part-time helper, Mateo, to take the weekend off since the livestock were boarded. The ranch should have been a ghost town, but bad weather cut my trip short, and when I rolled back a day early, my peace was shattered. Gates wide open, tire tracks scarring my drive, my favorite rocking chair dragged to the lawn, and Miranda's smug grin greeting me like a slap. Miranda was the HOA's deputy director, a self-appointed sheriff of the neighborhood, even though my ranch sat just beyond their jurisdiction. She'd harassed me before, once whining my fence was too rustic, another time claiming my shed's blue paint clashed with community VY Bess. I'd laughed it off, thinking she was just a busybody. Big mistake. Miranda thrived on control, strong-arming neighbors into repainting garages or chopping down trees. Most caved, but now she'd crossed the line, hosting a party on my land with strangers dancing in my pasture, kids rummaging in my shed, and an inflatable pool hooked to my hose. I started snapping photos for proof as sirens grew louder. Miranda stood on my porch, phone to her ear, spinning lies. "He's threatening my guests, officers. He might be unhinged." My hand shook. "You're trespassing, Miranda. You broke in and threw a party on my ranch." She smirked, arms crossed. "You left it abandoned, Caleb. The neighborhood deserves safe spaces. Neglect like yours? That's a community hazard." I nearly laughed, but the red and blue lights flashing against my fence killed any humor. 2 police cruisers rolled in, gravel crunching under tires. Miranda waved frantically. "Over here, officers." I stepped forward, hands up, ready to explain. But one cop, hand near his holster, barked, "Sir, step back. No sabemos." My stomach dropped. Miranda whispered to them, and their eyes turned cold. "ID," the first officer demanded. "Got anything pro-VYing you live here?" I handed over my license, voice steady. "Mail's inside, deeds in my safe. This is my ranch." Miranda chimed in. "He broke in, harassing my family. He's not who he claims." The band stopped playing. Kids scampered back to their parents. The second officer took my ID to his cruiser while Miranda, loud enough for all to hear, said, "Cuff him before he bolts. People like him always run." That phrase, "people like him," hit like a blade. She wasn't just trespassing. She wanted to erase me, shame me, strip my home from me in front of crowd. The officer returned, glancing at my ID. "You're Caleb Thompson." "Yes, sir," I said. "I own this place. I can show you bills, the deed, everything." She broke in. He eyed Miranda, who plastered on an innocent smile. The place looked abandoned, she said. The community was concerned. I snapped. I was gone 3 days. A hiking trip. The officer sighed. Mind if we check your documents inside? I nodded, leading him in while the other cop stopped Miranda from following. Inside, I opened my safe, pulling out the deed, utility bills, and photos from the day I bought the ranch. The officer studied them, his face softening. This checks out. It's your property. Relief hit, but it was short-lived. Outside, the music cranked back up. Miranda hadn't budged. The cops went to talk to her. She argued, even yelling, "He forged those papers." But when they didn't buy it, her face turned beet red, and she started shooing her guests out, acting like she was the VY Tim. The band packed up, the crowd left, and Miranda lingered on my porch, glaring. "This isn't over," she muttered, storming off with a venomous smile. The next morning, I found chaos. Chairs scattered, trash in my bushes, my grill tools gone. Worse, a red notice was pinned to my screen, Duran HOA violation for unauthorized land use, signed by Miranda Coleman, acting HOA president. At the bottom, in bold, pending HOA hearing to re-VY EW community seizure for public use. My blood ran cold. They were trying to steal my ranch. I called the county land office, heart pounding. A clerk, Sarah, confirmed my land was outside HOA control. "That notice is toothless," she said. "But watch out. They might try a nuisance claim." I hung up, rattled but determined. I called Mateo, my ranch hand, and my sister-in-law, Eliza, who promised to drive up from Missoula. Then I reached out to my old fire chief buddy, Logan, who still had ties in town. Mateo arrived, whistling at the mess. "She threw a whole festival?" he asked. We started cleaning, finding wine bottles in the shed and a burn mark on my porch railing. Then Mateo called me over, holding a tiny camera he'd found by the shed. We uncovered 2 more under the porch, behind a mailbox. Miranda had been spying on me. Eliza showed up that night, fuming. She broke in, threw a party, and now she's sending fake legal threats? "Caleb, you've got to fight." My phone buzzed with a voicemail from Miranda. "Surrender the property peacefully, Caleb. Think of the community. You're the outsider. Come to the hearing, but it's not looking good." Her tone was pure poison. The next day, I took the cameras, notice, and voicemail to the police station, but the desk officer barely glanced up. Another cop, an old colleague, pulled me aside. "Miranda's got a friend, Councilman Hargrove. Word is to stay out unless it's blatantly criminal." I left, gut churning. She wasn't alone. Logan arrived with a plan. "She's got someone pulling strings," he said. "Keep everything locked. I'll dig into her allies." Then Mateo ran in, pointing to my fence, now spray-painted with community property, now in another fake notice. We didn't tear it down. Instead, we installed high-def cameras on the shed, gate, and porch. Logan grinned. "If she comes back, we'll have her in 4K. I posted the saga online. HOA Miranda threw a cookout on my ranch, called 911 on me, and now wants my land. It blew up, with thousands of comments and messages from folks who'd tangled with Miranda's HOA. A local reporter, Claire, reached out for an inter-VYEW. I said yes. But that afternoon, an MOVYing truck rolled up. The driver waved a clipboard. "Delivery from Ms. Coleman. Couches, tables, patio set." She's MOVYing in. I nearly choked. Then Miranda's silver SUV pulled up. She stepped out, dangling a key. "Just getting a head start, Caleb," she said, handing the key to the driver. "Start with the deck." I blocked them. "You're not MOVYing in." She handed me another fake notice. "Emergency HOA occupancy order due to neglect." I laughed. "This is forged." She smirked, dialing 911 again. Fake crying. "He's threatening my movers. He's unstable." Sirens wailed. For cops arrived, one recognizing me. "She's trying to move in with a fake order," I said, handing it over. The officer scanned it, frowning. "This isn't legal." Miranda sputtered about an emergency meeting, but the lead cop shut her down. "You leave, ma'am. Now." She drove off, rigid with rage. Logan returned with dirt. Councilman Hargrove was pushing a community center project next to my ranch, needing my land to seal the deal. Miranda was his pawn. The next morning, Mateo showed me a blog post claiming I was hoarding animals and blocking roads with doctor photos. Miranda was smearing me. That night, my cameras caught her sneaking back, spray can in hand, dressed like a cat burglar. I hit the alert, pinging Logan and the cops. I stepped out, flashlight blazing. Havi nelefun midanda. She froze. This is my land, I said, and you're on VY Deo. Mateo flipped on floodlights, and Logan's truck roared up with a police cruiser behind. Officer Daniels cuffed her as she screamed, I am the HOA. The news crew arrived at dawn. I walked Claire through the EVY Denke, fake notices, forged orders, and the VY Deo of Miranda's vandalism. Logan handed over records tying Hargrove to a shady land fund. The story aired. Ranch owner targeted by rogue HOA leader. It went VY Row. Neighbors rallied, sharing their own HOA horror stories. But Miranda, from jail, pushed the HOA to call an emergency meeting claiming I was the fraud. Logan called it a trap, but I went armed with EVY Denke and Mateo as my witness. At the meeting, I laid out everything, the footage, the voicemail, the fake orders. The board sat silent. One member stammered, we didn't know. I leaned in. Make sure your HOA never touches my land again. Days later, the HOA ousted Miranda, voided all notices, and confirmed my ranch's exemption. Hargrove resigned amid an ethics probe. The audit exposed Miranda's scams. Fake fees, forged rules, bilking homeowners. She got 8 months in jail, a Dulaw $15,000 fine, and charges for trespassing, fraud, and vandalism. Hargrove's part plan collapsed. I framed the exemption letter by my door and threw a real party ribs, guitars, no HOA nonsense. Neighbors came, one whispering, you stood up to her. We couldn't. I renamed the ranch Willow Creek Haven, a nod to the fight won. Eliza stayed to repaint the shed. Logan checked cameras, mostly to drink coffee. Mateo suggested the name, grinning. Months later, a letter came from Miranda in jail. You'll always be the outsider. I burned it. The piece was mine. Where are you reading from? Did Miranda deserve her fate, or was she just a pawn in Hargrove's game? Should I have pressed charges sooner or let the law handle it? Ever faced an HOA bully like this? Drop a comment, hit like, and subscribe to rereading every word.